let's talk about this NEEWER 39.4 inches / 100 centimeters carbon fiber camera slider video stabilizer. So this slider I've had for several years, and it comes in a clutch. It's not the best slider, but what I like it for, and what I'm actually going to talk about, is because of the price. Now, you can go with these manual sliders, and they're about $95.99. And if you're on a budget, these are actually very, very useful tools. As long as you understand that you won't get buttery slides, you won't get that super smooth shots compared to a robotic arm, such as like the Rhino 2, which I've used before and I did other videos. This one, I use it a lot for low budget clients that are not looking for that high production, which I'm not going to be using my high-end cameras. I use this a lot with my phones. I use it with my GoPros. You know, this is good enough for certain shots, especially I do a lot of food content, and I just need some shots of food. Here's an example as I'm actually sliding through some of those beer handles. You notice it's pretty smooth, and you know, it's manual obviously, and you know, you get good enough shots for what I do, which is social media, and you know, that's the reason why I take it with me. Plus it's lightweight. Now if you're dealing with a robotic, you're gonna have other pieces. You're gonna have this piece plus the motor, and if you're gonna use the super high one stuff, it's gonna come in a bigger case. It's heavier, you know, it's gonna have a lot more into it, but it all just depends on application. You know, this right here is for good enough for what I do in smaller cases as far as the shoot. Now let's talk about the things I like. One, obviously, is the price. The price is very good. Two, it's actually built pretty well. You know, the design could use some work, but the build quality has been well. I've had this for several years now, and you know, it's definitely holding up. Now, I like all the mounting points, such as the 3/8 and then the 1/4. There's a lot, so you got several here. You have 2 here, and then you got 1 3/8 here, and then the edge of the rail also has mounting points. So if you want to shoot vertical, you have mounting points there. And you know, I've actually even used this where I had articulating arm, where it's coming out from here into a plate where the product was traveling with the rail, and I can show you a sample of that. And I was shooting the product in front of this as it travels, and here's a sample of that shot. But you know, rigging it was quite interesting, and how I did it. I like how it's carbon fiber. That is really a nice touch to it. It looks sleek. It looks like you know, high production when you're in a decent shoot with low budget clients. So it's got that presence. It's like I said, it's not that smooth, but if you are on the surface and this thing is completely flat like this, you know, you can get some good shots as long as your surface is flat, and you know, it actually will give you a nice smooth shots. Now let's talk about the things that gives me problem with this thing. So not everything is great with this product. So if you are planning to rig this, just pretend this is a tripod because of my space. So if this is a tripod and you rig it right dead center like that, and that's holding in place in the center, the moment you start moving this left and right, it tends to wiggle. The weight goes either this way, and if you go this way, the weight will go this way. The reason is because all the weight is in the center, and then it doesn't have that counterbalance. They have certain tools you can buy that actually can help counterbalance it. The way I counterbalance it is I have the tripod here in the center, then I have a light stand that I rig here in one end, and then on the other end I have another light stand. So now you have 3 legs holding up this tripod. It's not the best system, but it gives me more stability knowing that it's not going to move. Okay, so that's one thing that I have issues with. I never mount this without having 2 light stands on the end, and you can use that system. The other thing I don't like is these legs. These legs are okay. The design needs some work. when you are turning it to the position you want, there's times where you really tighten it up. You know, you tighten it as much as you can. It doesn't have a lock feature to it where it won't completely move. Oftentimes, when you're sliding so much, these things tend to loosen up, and then it'll move out of its position, and then now it's not even anymore. You know, I can't tell in the camera. So one side is you know, like that, and originally you had it like that, and it got loose, and then as you're shooting, it moves. So now you're trying to figure out, oh, why is the shot so like cockeyed? And it's because of that. And sometimes when you're shooting, these things get loose, and then you don't realize that one is higher than the other. So you need to troubleshoot and then make sure that this is all the way down if you don't need it to go extend higher. So these things are not the most reliable when you need them to work properly. They tend to get loose. I wish it was more of a clip locking feature rather than this, because they do get loose eventually as much as you even tighten it. Other than that, you know, that's one of the features I get annoyed with. These things get loose. Now I've rigged this with smaller cameras, and I use it a lot with my GoPros and my phone, and I've used it in ways where I have a cheap fluid head like this Manfrotto. If you rig it like that, you have different points that you can point the camera. So you not only do you have the left and right slide, now you can pan, you can tilt. So if you have an object, you can create certain cinematic moves. Now, it all just depends on how good you are in trying to land your shots, because this will take some practice. You know, because you have to put your focus on the slide, you have to focus on your pan, and you have to focus on your tilt just to get that shot. So that's one thing that's one way I use it. Other ways I use it is I use small cameras such as a GoPro like that, and you can actually use this shooting vertical. So if you have a GoPro right there, you can easily move the slide up and down. And the way, if you wanted to rig it, I have two solutions to rig it. In the edge of the tripod, you can mount tools like this, and then once you have it in place like this, you can grip it into a pole or even a C-stand, as long as it's straight. Also, these like Manfrotto, which is like a heavier duty type of grip at the end, so you can put that like that. But that bite is different, because that bite points this way compared to this one. The bite is open like this. So whenever you rig, look at the bite difference on these two. So you can rig this like this, whereas the bite's like that, whereas this bite opens up to the pole. Right, so I have several of these, and I have several of these as well. Now I'm going to show you my absolute favorite way of rigging this thing. So you have the slider. I have this Oben rigging system where this can mount here. This is the 1/20th. It can mount here, and this allows me to extend even further. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Look at this. It's like a barrel on top of this thing. So at the end, you have a mounting point, such as that. Now I can put a camera in front of this. Okay, I rigged up a GoPro here. As you notice, you can, with the GoPro, I have a ball head right here, and that allows me to position the camera facing up, or if you're facing it directional like this. So now I have this awesome movement where if you have the slider, you get this nice long extended slide, which will give me about more than 4 feet. Check that out. And I've used this a lot in my restaurant shoots where I need to have creative shots of the food, drinks, and it just travels like that. How cool is that? It's nice and smooth, right? And not only can you use GoPro, you can use your phone. You can rig your phone on the end of this. So by far, this is my most favorite setup when I'm utilizing this NEEWER tripod, and it gives me more options aside from just sliding left and right. If you guys have any questions down below, if you guys decide that you want to buy this NEEWER, I provided a link down below for an Amazon, and feel free to click on that link. That would help us out as far as having a little commission on that link through Amazon, just so that we can keep doing these types of videos. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to type down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.